Orpheus was the son of Apollo and Calliope. His father was a god of music, and her mother was one of the aspiring muses. Orpheus had inherited unrivaled talents when he played the lyre, which was a gift from his father. Man, animals, and even plants was marveled to hear such stunning chords. Already an adult, Orpheus was a part of quest for the Golden Fleece. He protected and saved Argonauts from the siren song of his music. After returning from his adventure, Orpheus met the beautiful Eurydice, for whom he fell in love with and got married. Eurydice was currently the biggest fan of Orpheus's music. The passion that the young girl felt for his song often makes him jealous of his own songs. However, a tragedy hovered over the couple. One day, while Eurydice was walking through the fields, he was spotted Aristeus, the beekeeper. He was in love with the young girl, but she always ignored him. The beekeeper went after her to declare his love. Feared to be embarrassed by Aristeus, Eurydice ran through the woods, but while she is escaping through the grass, the unfortunate girl was bitten by a venomous snake. Knowing what happened, Orpheus ran to his lover, but she is already lifeless. The happiness of his songs vanished from that day forward, and only sad and melancholic sounds came from his lyre. Orpheus went to Zeus, Olympus's supreme god, asking him to bring his lover back. The god said that he could not interfere with the business of his brother Hades, but gave him a chance to go with Hermes to the world of dead, so he could go and talk to the god of the underworld. Cerberus, the three-headed god, was at Hades' gates, responsible for preventing intruders to trespass in the domains of his master. Orpheus played him a mellifluous song which made him fall asleep. Hades and his wife Persephone were surprised by the arrival of Orpheus in their domains. Furious, the god said,
"How dare you invade my domains with your mortal being? You tell me your motivation, or you will endure endless suffering in Tartarus."
"I came here to beg you to allow me to reunite with my lover Eurydice in the world of the living." Orpheus sang a sad song. It was impossible not to feel moved by the boy's pain. As Orpheus is playing the lyre, the world of the dead stopped to listen to him. Hades was touched by Orpheus's music to the point he even shed an iron tear. The queen, Persephone, interceded for Orpheus, and so Hades gave the order to bring Eurydice back. The couple's re-encounter moved everyone. That when Hades thought,
"You are free to go, nonetheless you shall go ahead and Eurydice will walk behind you, but you will never look back, otherwise you will lost her forever."
Hades opened the path from the earth to the surface, and the couple departed towards the world of the living. Orpheus walked the whole path quite concerned because he was not sure that Eurydice is following him. When he was almost reaching the end of the tunnel, Orpheus looked back to make sure that the young girl was still there. But as soon as their glances met, Eurydice was put back in the world of the dead, and the tunnel was sealed. Orpheus was isolated and plunged into a horrible depression. His music was never happy again. Sometime after, he was found by a group of Bacchantes, who were priestesses Dionysus, whom are drunk and intend to sleep with the youngsters. But he was only devoted to playing his sad songs. Furious, the Bacchantes threw rocks to Orpheus, but the power of his music diverted them. The Bacchantes decided to muffle the music with bells, screams, and drums. Orpheus ended up dead and shattered. His mortal remains, along with his lyre, were thrown into the river. The gods punish the Bacchantes and transforms Orpheus's lyre into a constellation. Despite his awful death, now his spirit was free to find Eurydice in the Elysian fields.
Hi, good day! So now I will be discussing about the Greek mythology entitled Orpheus and Eurydice. So now let's move on to the plot analysis, and the first one is the exposition. So Orpheus and Eurydice got married. Right after the wedding, Eurydice fell to the ground after a poisonous snake bit her. Eurydice and her spirit sank down into the underworld. So here in the exposition, Orpheus is a great poet and musician in the mortal world. Eurydice is a nymph. Orpheus fell in love with Eurydice and soon they get married. On the wedding day, as Eurydice walks along the river bank, she was bitten by a snake and died. The second one is the rising action. When Orpheus' pain was too much, he decided that he would travel through the underworld to get his wife back. So here in the rising action, Orpheus goes to the underworld to find Eurydice. Orpheus had to get past the monster in order to get her. He played his lyre to in order let him pass through the river and through the trail. Ultimately, he met Hades. He has convinced him to get Eurydice back by singing and playing his lyre. There is just one condition. Until they reach the threshold between the land of the mortal living and the underworld, he must not look back to check if Eurydice is behind him. So for the climax, when he was up on the land of the living, he looked back at her. But Pluto had said both of them had to be out of the underworld before he looked back. So here in climax, Orpheus was walking. He cannot assure who is walking behind him, but he can hear footsteps. Just before reaching the gate of the mortal world, Orpheus looked back to confirm if Eurydice was following behind. Indeed, Eurydice was there, but then, because Orpheus looked behind, Eurydice vanished deep back to the underworld. For the falling action, Eurydice was pulled back into the underworld once again. So here, in the mortal world, Orpheus is sad and alone. He just played his lyre, and when the Maenads noticed him, they dismembered his body and thrown them into the river. The Muses saw his body parts and buried at the foot of the mountain. So the last one is the resolution. Orpheus cannot do anything more, so he plays his lyre and sings sad melodies, and wait until he dies so that they will reunited with her beloved Eurydice. So for the resolution, as Orpheus died, he went to the underworld to meet Eurydice, and they were inseparable. For the theme of this myth, it is the original tragic love story and the power of the music. For the moral lesson, we have here about love. When Eurydice dies, Orpheus mourns for her. He goes down to the underworld to get her. Love is stronger than the death itself. So the second one is the importance of trust. Orpheus can't hear Eurydice's footsteps behind him, so that he assumes he is being tricked by Hades, and made the mistake of turning around to see if Eurydice has followed him. So this shows his distrust to the god Hades. When Orpheus impulsively looks back at Eurydice on their way out of the underworld, he breaks the one condition that Hades gave in allowing Orpheus to retrieve her from death and loses her forever. So the next one is about the obedience or the patience. If only Orpheus had followed Hades' instruction, he would have been able to bring back Eurydice safely to the world of the living. So that's all for the plot analysis, and thank you for watching.